like your eyes. You like mine, oh, they know my game. I'm on my go. I make your wrist go bling, flowers on no. Hey, I make your wrist go bling, blah, don't make no rhinestone. She a pretty bitch, I throw my wallet, cause my heart, hey, I ain't check it, I ain't got it on the eye.
Twins, and B. You know what I'm saying? Good afternoon, good evening, good night. Hope you're doing good to whenever you're seeing this. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, nobody put this in the comments, but we ain't watch a video like this in a little minute, you know what I'm saying? So, we're going to catch this little vibe, you know what I'm saying? Watch some crash outs. And yeah, you know what I'm saying? I hope you had a good day today, twin. You know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and see what's going on, you know what I mean? And yeah, let me know if there's some other video. I ain't gonna lie, twin, I feel like I'm getting sick and my brain is all over the place. Let's just watch the video.
In this video, we'll be telling the stories of 3 rappers that crashed out and threw their lives away instantly. 800 Fats, real name DeAndre Jennings, is from the south side of Chicago, more specifically 61st and Cottage Grove. He is a member of the gang 800. 800 might just be the most hated gang in Chicago. 800 has beef throughout the whole city and snaked most of the other gangs that they were cool with. Some of the main sets that 800 beefs with are M Block, Mix Mob, Taekwon World, Jarl City, STL/EBT, Pocket Town, 051 Young Money, Murder Town, MOB, and TYMB. Fats is a remorseless demon. He would frequently go live on Instagram, showing his location and challenging his ops to shootouts. He once bragged on camera about shooting an op's pregnant family member, causing them to have to get an abortion.
My family member.
What the fuck? No, that's too far. That's too far.
Pregnant family member, causing them to have to get an abortion.
My family members got shot in their stomach and had to abort their baby, all type of shit.
Fats eventually started rapping and built a little buzz for himself, but he was best known for his antics. He built a reputation in the streets for being a killer, and he frequently bragged about committing murders. Prior to the murders that he's arrested for, Fats hinted on an Instagram Live that he had killed 5 people. As you know, gangbanging doesn't pay the bills, so eventually Fats would get desperate for cash and make a crazy decision. On November 16, 2021, at 9:30 a.m., 2 members of the gang Face World 079 named Dewey and Spook walked up to a man raking leaves and demanded his car keys at gunpoint. The victim handed over the keys to his Lincoln sedan parked in the driveway, and the 2 assailants took off in his car. Around 10:20 a.m., as 3 armored car guards were loading an ATM at the Bank of America at 83rd Street and Princeton Avenue, Dewey and Spook were joined by Fats and another 800 member named Little Twan, and they drove to the bank together in the stolen car. Fats, Twan, and one of the other accomplices got out of the car, 2 of them wielding handguns, the 3rd with a long rifle. They were dressed in black and wearing masks when they then approached the guards and demanded the cash. They then shot 2 of the security guards. One of the guards, named LaShonda Hartz, age 47, was shot 6 times, and another, a 46-year-old...
Wow. That's crazy.
Age 47, was shot 6 times, and another, a 46-year-old man, was shot twice. Both were taken to University of Chicago Medical Center, where LaShonda died, and her partner was left in critical condition with gunshots to the lower extremities.
That's crazy.
The 3rd security guard was not struck.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't know this was about to get this crazy. They really crashed out. Damn.
With gunshots to the lower extremities. The 3rd security guard was not struck and was able to return fire, but did not strike the assailant. Fats and his crew were unable to get the cash container from the guards during the attack and fled the scene in the stolen Lincoln.
So they just did all that for nothing.
They would then drive to a Boost Mobile store, and once at the Boost Mobile store, Little Twan got out of the car, walked up to the counter inside the Boost Mobile, and pulled out 2 handguns, pointing them at an employee and a customer, and announced a robbery. The customer screamed and got on the floor while the clerk opened the register and Twan stole the cash inside before also grabbing several bags of cell phones and fleeing the scene. After robbing the store, Fats and Twan would backstab their own crew. Around 11:30 a.m., a witness heard gunfire and saw the car crash into a tree near 87th and Saginaw. The witness then saw Fats and Twan get out of the car and run inside a nearby home. While inside the home, a witness saw Fats, Twan, and other individuals passing around a duffel bag containing a rifle and talking about hiding their guns. Fats later told one of the people inside the home to call the police and tell them someone had been shot and killed in a car outside the house. Upon arriving at the scene, officers found the driver and a front seat passenger in the car had both been shot. They were pronounced dead shortly afterward, and numerous boxes of cell phones from the Boost Mobile store that had been robbed were found both inside and outside the car. The two men that were shot and killed were Dewey and Spook, and it was revealed that Fats and Twan killed them after they got into an altercation, presumably over the split of the money. The crazy thing about it,
these young niggas is really crashing. That's crazy. Twins said they went to go. First, they went to go hit the first lick. The first lick went bad. Then they went to go hit the second lick. It wasn't really a real. I mean, it's a phone store. It can't be too much in there. And then they. That's crazy.
is that Dewey was Fats' cousin. Shortly
What
after this,
the fuck? It just keep getting worse.
the crazy thing about it is that Dewey was Fats' cousin. Shortly after this, Fats and Twan were arrested and charged with these murders. Fats is currently in jail and is charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of attempted murder, 2 counts of armed robbery, and 1 count of attempted armed robbery. He is even being accused of getting beat up in jail and snitching on Little Twan.
Nah, that was crazy. They crashed out for
Shorty,
real.
real name Terezi Poe, is a rapper/gang member from Jacksonville, Florida. He repped the hood 6 Block, made famous by the rapper Fulio. 6 Block is a hood on the north side of Jacksonville in an area called 45th Street. Over the years, 6 Block has had deadly beefs with the gangs Head First from the Grand Park area of Jacksonville, ATK from the west side of Jacksonville and all of their affiliates, Sherwood, also known as Double O, T-Block, and 1200/Cuckoo Gang from the east side of Jacksonville. K-Shorty's life of violence would begin at a young age. At just 16 years old, he was facing life in prison for 4 counts of attempted murder. He claims that someone tried to take his gun from him during an argument, so he fired back at that person in self-defense. The shooting happened in a crowded area, so 3 additional attempted murder charges were placed on him. He was eventually able to get his charges reduced to 1 count of assault with a deadly weapon, and he accepted an 18-month plea deal in juvenile prison. He was in prison for 2 years in total. After being released from prison, an attempt on K-Shorty's life would be made by his enemies. On March 20th, 2020, K-Shorty and his girlfriend, 17-year-old Inandi Weish, were driving home from a date when a gray car stopped in front of them and 2 males got out and opened fire. K-Shorty would survive this incident with minimal injuries, however, Inandi would be pronounced dead at the scene. The most tragic thing about this is that she wasn't even the intended target. The 2 shooters were members of Double O. As I mentioned earlier, Double O beefs with K-Shorty's hood 6 Block. Once the 2 shooters were caught, police investigation would reveal that they targeted K-Shorty because they believed that he was the one that killed their friend, another Double O member named Swift Jit, real name Daquan Saxton, just 2 days before this incident. About a year after this tragic incident, K-Shorty would start to rap and take it seriously. He released multiple music videos, and he blew up pretty much right away. All of his music videos were reaching over 1 million views on YouTube, and he was on the verge of getting signed to a major record label. It looked like K-Shorty was going to be one of the biggest rappers to ever come out of Jacksonville, but one crash out would change the course of his life forever. As I mentioned earlier, 6 Block beefs with many hoods throughout Jacksonville, and one of their biggest beefs is with the hood 1200. The 2 groups are involved in a deadly war that's been going on for over a decade. One of the most well-known members of 1200 is the rapper Spinna Benz. He disses K-Shorty constantly in his music and is the one that resurfaced embarrassing videos that K-Shorty made when he was in middle school trying to go viral as a comedian.
He's twerking in the bathroom. Look, y'all, he's so good.
Oh, damn.
I need the meat.
I suck the meat, yeah, eat the feet, and eat the meat, I want the meat, feed the meat.
Nah, Twin funny for that. He fraud. Nah, Twin fraud for that.
Oh, he's so
Somebody
good.
need the meat. Nah, Twin funny for that.
I need the meat, I hate the meat, I suck the meat, yeah, eat the feet, and eat the meat, I want the meat, feed the meat, I want the meat. She wanna see me, he wanna be me, bitch you ain't leaving, I gotta beat it. She wanna eat, she wanna be, he wanna.
The embarrassment from these videos being resurfaced would cause K Shorty to crash out and throw away his life in an attempt to kill Spinna Benz. On September 28, 2021, Spinna Benz was driving in a car with a member of 1200 named Greenlight and another member of 1200 named No Face. They were sitting in a Dodge Challenger outside Raceway gas station on Lenox Avenue when a black Range Rover Evoque pulled up and people inside opened fire on them. Spinna Benz and Greenlight ran into the gas station, but No Face was left behind. The Range Rover sped off. Spinna Benz and Greenlight went back to the Dodge Challenger and drove to the emergency room. No Face was shot in the head and would be pronounced dead at the hospital. K Shorty and one of his associates would be arrested shortly after as they did a bad job of covering up their tracks. The car used in the murder belonged to the mother of a 6-block affiliate named Tufo, or named Jacoby Zykes, and he and K Shorty were both charged with second-degree murder and 2 counts of attempted murder for this incident. K Shorty was arrested because he continued to drive the murder car afterwards, and he left shell casings from the shooting in the car. K Shorty is currently in jail, facing life in prison for this murder. To make things worse for him, he was sentenced to 12 years in prison for a separate gun charge unrelated to this incident, so even if he beats the murder case, he will still have to serve the 12-year sentence.
Twin said he had to slide about that.
Bando KD, real name Radim Calhoun, was born and raised in the south side of Chicago. He went through a lot of trauma growing up, and this made him jump headfirst into the streets. He said in an interview that he fully embraced the streets during his freshman year of high school after losing multiple loved ones to gang violence. He said that he's lost 10 to 15 people in the streets. He got the name Bando KD from his friend named Bando Bands, who was shot and killed in 2017. KD's a member of M Block, and their hood resides on 69th and Maplewood on the southwest side of the city. They beef with groups like Bloodhound and 800. KD was living a wild life in the streets. He would frequently go on live, showing himself looking for his ops while heavily armed, and he would record himself taking
why
the
do
police
niggas
on
be posting that? Niggas really be posting that type of shit? Like, damn.
looking for his ops while heavily armed, and he would record himself taking the police on high-speed chases. With a lifestyle like that, a lot of bad things arise from it. KD was shot 3 times on one occasion after being jumped by rival gang members, and he was shot once on another occasion.
Damn.
Outside of the streets, KD was trying to get rich so he could eventually leave Chicago behind. He attempted to do so through music. He always felt he would blow up in music. He released his first song called Session, and he would consistently release music afterwards. His music started to buzz, and he eventually began getting recruited by record labels. It was looking like he was going to make it in music until a brass decision he made years earlier would finally catch up to him. On March 1st, 2022, KD and 2 of his affiliates left a house in the 2300 block of West 72nd Street and were walking in the street. As they were walking, a Buick SUV drove past them. The Buick SUV was full of innocent people. However, a Mercedes had also driven in the same direction as the Buick, and the Mercedes was allegedly being driven by a rival gang member to M Block. KD and his associates began to fire in the direction of the Mercedes. However, it was the Buick nearby that took the most devastating shots. An innocent 12-year-old girl named Nizaria Moore was sleeping in the backseat of the Buick returning home from her birthday celebration when she was hit by one of the stray bullets. Nizaria was rushed to Comer's Children's Hospital, where she would tragically pass away from her injuries just 3 days later. Investigators found 25 shell casings from 3 different weapons at the scene. Surveillance cameras captured the shooting, but police officials said their break in the case came when an anonymous tip came forward. Due to the anonymous tip, Katie's associates named Abdul Ali and Malik Parrish were arrested and charged with this murder in November of 2022. Bando KD was the last alleged shooter left, and he was able to remain free and uncharged for over 2 years. He would finally get identified and arrested for this on September 12, 2024. All 3 men were charged with first-degree murder and are facing life in prison. 3 rappers, 2 of which were on the rise musically, threw it all away in an instant. Let me know what you guys think about these situations in the comment section.
That first one was crazy. They always kind of cool, but that first one, they was wilding. They was on the GTA mission, bro. But anyways, let me know how you felt about that. You know what I'm saying? Let me know if there's any more videos like this you want me to watch, man. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate your time. Hope you had a good day today, too. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of there, man. I'm gonna see y'all niggas in the next one, bro.